Welcome back to What Arty Noobs with General Disturbance. This is an SU-152. It's a Tier 7 Soviet turretless tank destroyer. It's located on the defending spawn of Ghost Town Assault, and it's under the commands of Brit on the NA, God bless USA. Game started, 10 minutes assault battle, and he's on the defending team. Well, this tank destroyer normally comes with a 152mm gun as its main armament, and yes, he's got the stock gun, the 152, 700 alpha with AP, and it'll go through 135mm of armor. But with the HE rounds, you can do 910 hit points of damage if you can penetrate 86mm of armor. So you can see you can do a lot of damage with this gun, but it's got a 15.27 seconds reload, and this is one of the main reasons why a lot of players tend to ditch the 152mm gun. And oh dear, this SU-130 PM has decided to stop at precisely the same spot we are, and despite us trying to maneuver to get out of the way so we can get a shot, he just moved with us, and as a result we lose any chance to get any damage. And we were spotted, which means that the enemy is now lobbing shells at us. Yep, there's 3 Artys on the enemy team, and we've just got hit by a Scorpion G. And part of the reason for that was that SU-130 PM who was being a flaming nuisance by blocking us. Okay, well, Brit has decided to go behind this rock for the moment. Very annoying that, because I reckon that the SU-130 PM has cost Brit a lot of hit points. He's lost half his hit points. Well, in fact, more than half. 61% of his health has gone, all down to that stupid SU-130 PM. Okay, well, as I was saying before, we got rudely interrupted by the SU-130, jamming us and blocking us. A lot of tank drivers will tend to ditch the 152mm gun on this tank destroyer, and there's a good reason, you see, because you can actually mount a 122mm gun instead that's normally fitted to the tanks, and that would give it a tank's type of reload. 390 alpha, slightly less, but much more penetration. Yes, you'd be able to penetrate some of the targets you wouldn't be able to penetrate at the moment. And oh, the enemy RT has us in their sights. 139 hit points. That was a near miss, a splash. So somebody'd seen us and fired a round in, and maybe, you know, that was from a previous spotting. I'm not sure if Brit actually does have 6th sense, but I would have thought he does actually. But well, we were seen, and there's an enemy tank over there, and he's now gone. Cromwell B vaporized. Now that's one of the good things about the 152mm gun. It does tend to do a lot of damage very, very quickly. But it does have some drawbacks because, as I said, long reload, very long reload, which means that sometimes you won't be loaded when you need to be. And an IS-2 there, looks like he's tracked. If we can get a shot on him, that'll ruin his day. Well, yep, 311. It was an impact against the side of the hull, but it didn't penetrate. As you know, non-penetrating rounds, you cut the amount of hit points in half. And he fires another one in. Oh, gets the kill that time though. 102, that was all that was left. He only needed enough to splash against the side of the hull. And now that Scorpion is there. That's the same guy who took a huge amount of 528 hit points of damage off us by spotting us earlier with his 128mm gun. Now, if we could put a round into him, he's got fairly thin armor, and our round would do considerable damage to him, and it does. Oh, no, it's a Type 64, but he's now dead. I thought that was the Scorpion for a moment. I thought odd-looking Scorpion, but no, it was actually a Type 64. I was doing a Jingles moment. I misidentified the target, but it was killed anyway. I do hear that apparently Captain Jingles is now available for unlocking as a premium crew member. You can't buy him, but you can unlock him if you can get enough hit points or XP. And so you can now have the crew member jingles, captain jingles, misidentifying ships all over the place. I thought I'd put that in because he put it into his latest Mingles with Jingles. I don't think there's any targets over there. The scores are still even. Now there is an enemy tank sitting up on the heights. We know where the Scorpion is. There he is. Pops out again. Just have a quick look, see who's there. I think he probably thought that he might be able to get a shot on that P-43. In fact, that P-43 of ours, P-43 Tur, is actually in a fairly dangerous position. He could be killed by that Scorpion if he got a high roll. Oh, he just suffered 2 hits simultaneously, and now he's a one shot with just 4 hit points left. And he's also been hit by stun from an enemy Arty shell, and now he's dead. That was rather unfortunate. That Pantera is still up there, and the problem is that we haven't got anybody close enough to spot him. We've got a T-69 that's on the corner, but his view range probably doesn't extend that far. And our SU-130PM definitely doesn't have the view range to get up there. Or at least I would say definitely, but he's about 4 grid squares away, so I wouldn't have thought he would be able to see it. Even though we're 2 tanks down on the enemy at the moment, we still have 3 minutes 25 seconds left to run. And of course, you know, this is an assault game, so they have to kill all of the tanks on our team or cap out. And if they try to cap with the current state of affairs, with so many of our tanks looking over that cap area from these heights, it could get rather messy for them. They've still got 3 Arties, but they've only got 3 tanks, whereas we've got 5 tanks, no Arties. I think that puts the advantage in our hand, not in theirs. Even though they've got numerical strength, they can't really do much against us if they can't see us or shoot us. So all that Brit is doing at the moment is staying where he is, waiting for that Pantera to show up. I wouldn't try to drive in even closer though, because that Pantera, he might try to get shots on the SU-152. The problem with the SU-152 is the armour is not very strong. In fact, it's particularly weak. The hull is based on the KV-1S, so it's fairly low on armour already anyway. But it's basically a vehicle for a massive gun. That's all it is. And you can see Brit has sort of like wedged himself up against the rock for cover from Arty and from that Scorpion. And he's now just watching for the Pantera to make a move. The Pantera's their only medium. Oh, we just lost someone. The T-69 was lost up north. Their GW Panthers appeared a long way north of us at the moment. Oh, we just lost our Jagdpanzer 4 as well. So now it's looking dicey. They're making their move south gradually, bit by bit. Now the Striv, oh, we got hit by the M44. So tracking, near miss. We can pull back a bit actually and use the bush mechanic. There's the SU-130PM. Going for it. Yes, gets him. 258, but they are capping and they've got 2 in the cap. It's enough for them to get a win if they can cap out. The Striv's moving. We're moving. Is the SU-130PM moving? No, he's staying behind. The nuisance is staying behind. Okay, so Striv is going to be the one doing the spotting. Oh, there they are. It's Arty. And there's one of them gone. Okay, now we just got to hit that Pantera. And the problem is there is a shack in the way. The Striv's taking damage from their Arty. If we can put a round in the Pantera. Yes, we do. We loop the shell over the top, and that is a Top Gun. There's still one in the cap. It's the SU-100M1, and we can just about make him out. Almost loaded. And we don't even need to fire because they've run out of time. And that's it. Game's over. So let's have a look at the end of battle stats. Well, it's the third class tank for Brit on the NA, God bless USA, and in the SU-152. He managed to get a third class tanker in that game. He got a Reaper badge for taking out enemy tanks with consecutive shots, and you saw towards the end of that, yes, he was getting consecutive shots on each of those tanks in the cap. And he also picked up a fire for effect for doing more damage than hit points to his own vehicle, a bruiser medal for getting at least 5 critical hits. He got 12 in that one, but he picked up a Top Gun, an epic medal for getting 6 kills in total. And that's after that rude interruption right at the start by the SU-130PM, who really should know better than to try and block somebody, especially when you're doing it on purpose. And I think he was doing it on purpose because he could see that Brit was trying to turn to get a shot on the enemy, and he wanted it all for himself. Well, the win rate for that game was 1914, which is good, very good, but not excellent. It wasn't Unicum standard. And when we look at the team scores, we can see that this is the reason why. Although he did get a fair amount of damage, 1,151 hit points, he wasn't the high scorer. That was that Scorpion G, the one who actually hit him. He picked up a high caliber for doing 2,838 hit points of damage in that game. He was really rocking it. But unfortunately, he wasn't able to help the team continuously because he did get wiped out in the end. And the high score on his team was the SU-130PM. Obviously, he was trying to hog all the damage for himself. 1,926 hit points. He only got 1 kill, whereas Brit was finishing off the enemy tanks that others had actually hit already. But he did get a substantial amount of damage, and 6 kills can't be knocked. That's pretty good. So when it came to base XP, it's the AMX M445 who came out with the top. 811 base experience points for him, 772 for the Jagdpanzer 4, and then we've got Brit with 656 out of that off his 1,151. And you can see that the SU-130PM, long way down the table. So part of that reason for that is obviously he's tier 8 premium and Brit is in a tier 7 standard, so obviously he was earning more XP for every tier 8 tank that he hit. Let's have a look at detail. He fired 7 rounds, got 7 hits, 3 penetrations, so 7 hits is pretty accurate shooting, 100% hit rate. 5 splash as well, damage of 1,151 hit points, all at more than 300 meters. He received 1 hit, it was a penetration. That was the shot from the Scorpion G, which did penetrate straight away. And he also received 3 hits by way of splash damage from the Arty. One of the reasons why he did get hit was because he was spotted while he was trying to adjust his position so he could shoot by that little scout who then got wiped out promptly afterwards. But he wouldn't have been hit at all if he'd been allowed to actually get into cover or to move correctly. But that SU-130PM, real nuisance, was blocking him. 6 enemy vehicles damaged, 6 killed, and 45 defense points in the cap. On a premium count, he earned 22,527 credits, and after repair and ammunition resupply, of course it was standard HE or AP, 12,221 credits profit. 26 credits for the game, so 1 for the Top Gun and 25 from Veni Vidi Vici. 984 XP, and there was no multiplier, so that's all the experience points he took away. He said, guided by Stalin onto the end. Well, yes, the cold dead hand of Stalin reached up out of the grave and guided the shells onto the target, which is why he had 100% hit rate. And actually, the funny thing about the SU-152 is it was actually used as an Arty during the Second World War. Yes, if you watch the film White Tiger, you will see lines of SU-152s lined up with their guns pointed in the air for indirect fire. Yes, it's something that a lot of players think, oh no, this is a tank destroyer. It's actually a self-propelled gun, and even the Tank Museum will admit that it is a self-propelled gun. And even though it's not an artillery gun, it is a self-propelled gun, and they did use it for indirect fire. So there you go. Arty wins. If you enjoyed that replay, please give this video a like and do subscribe to our channel. Hit that notification button so you get alerted when the new video goes up. We try to put as many as we can up at the moment. We're trying to hit 5,000 videos before Christmas. Yes, we've only been going for about 2 years and a bit on the video channel, but we've already hit the 5,000 mark. Now that's more than double what some of the bigger and the more well-known content creators have actually produced. In fact, actually, I think if we're creative, I think we might actually be able to produce 3 times the number of videos that Quickie Baby's done sometime during next year. I think that's more than likely. But I suppose he would say quality over content, over quantity. Well, yeah, maybe you've been doing it for a lot longer. He gave himself a pat on the back in today's videos for his style being so much better. Well, it's true. Your style does improve as you get better at this game, and I've got a lot more relaxed in how I produce these videos now, and that's why I try to make the content more interesting. So thanks for watching.